So that's going to be completely forgotten. And in case you're wondering, yeah, it's another shooting. It's America. It's another day. The shooting was wrong. It was one of the bad ones, not like one of the good ones. You know the good shootings?
What are the good shootings?
Well, it's where everyone gets to sit around and talk about how guns should be banned because a white man did something. Therefore, it's a good shooting. We can actually politicize that. Whereas this is one of the bad ones that everyone has to forget immediately.
I've heard this. I mean, how bad is it, this shooting?
I don't think it's particularly unusual in terms of like the shooting itself, in terms of victims, etc. But
it's another school shooting. Is it like 3 or 4 people?
The suspect was the wrong suspect.
Oh, I see.
So that's the problem.
Right.
But we'll start off just by mentioning something on Lotus.com being Aldous Huxley's Brave New World book club, which is dystopian as hell, and the American gun debate. It's not a gun debate. What am I talking about? It's the American shooting debate. The mass shooting debate that happens every so often. That just nobody learns anything. Everyone talks past each other. And where's the fault? I mean, primarily, I would agree with the Republicans. It's the Democrats every goddamn time. Just don't listen to any of the data. And we'll see that. Because if you go forwards, there's been another school shooting in the United States. Yeah, another day. There's one in a school. Yeah. You can see some pictures here from the police showing, they also shot the cops, the suspect here. And if you go to the next link, we can see that they killed some kids and then some adults.
Oh, God.
So those are the details. You got 3 kids, all age 9. 3 adults who are all 60 plus at a Catholic school. So, okay.
It's awful.
Yep. And then, well, you can, like ChatGPT, just instantly predict what the conversation is going to be before you even have any details. Like,
I didn't really follow this because I was on other things, because this is very recent news, isn't it? It was only yesterday that this came out. So I noticed that it happened, but I can guess what you're going to tell me is that immediately this became an anti-gun thing.
Well, if you go to the right wing, well, their immediate response was to point out, okay, let's actually talk about mass shootings. Here's some data. If you go to the next link, you can see some of that horrifying data on mass shootings. And of course, that conversation can never be had, so the old data just goes in the bin, no one listens. But the Republicans
I didn't realise that was...
standing there with their D in their hand because no one's listening to the data, no one cares.
But hang on, I'm on Twitter, and it's supposed to be an angry white man issue.
Yeah, it's not.
Right.
If you ever want to take a look there's actually another website I found at the middle of one of the Vox articles I'm about to feature. They have a link that shows you all the mass shootings this year. And I played a game. You know what the game is? You hit offender, and it gives you a description of the offender. I just hit it with like 5 different random shootings throughout the country. Didn't notice any patterns, I'm sure. Anyway, so that's the data. No one's going to listen to the data. No one cares. You expect also the right-wingers to talk about mental health, which is accurate, because if you have a unique problem that other countries that have guns don't have, such as people walking into schools and shooting them up.
Well, because Switzerland, don't they? I mean, they have basically an assault rifle in every home because they have a military instead of a military.
And they don't have the mental health crisis the Americans have.
Yes, and they have basically no shootings.
So, I mean, that's the usual right-wing thing that you expect, and they tried, but that didn't go far. Because here's the left-wing response, which is guns. Guns exist. So this lady here pointing out that this is a Christmas card from some Tennessee politician. Look, him and his family have guns.
Well, presumably none of those are the shooter, though.
No, weird that.
Yes.
Not sure how that was relevant. But I don't know if little Timmy was the one who did this yet. We'll find out in a minute. We go to the UK debate, which was even more stupid. You have here Otto English, who is shocked because some American came on TV to talk about the fact that, well, maybe the teachers should have guns to protect themselves because the school was a gun-free zone. Which meant...
So, interestingly, I think one of the first attempted school shootings was in Texas. And this was like in the 60s or something. And basically, I think he shot like one person and was trying to shoot more people. But what happened is all the teachers and students went to their cars and took out their gun and dealt with the shooter very quickly.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the obvious solution to the American problem in the American context. What can actually solve that? And it's like, well, we know. Yeah. Everyone knows. Just everyone's a bit squeamish about accepting the fact. I mean, the school in this case was a gun-free zone, so there were no guns.
Yeah,
that protected them. We go to the next one here, because Vox came out with, it was a gun problem. America's unique, enduring gun problem explained. Here's all the details about how the gun did this.
I don't know if you're going to mention this, but the other news that I did see yesterday is that Rand Paul's staffer got stabbed in DC. So presumably the argument there was
it's a knife.
It was the knife.
The knife did it.
Yeah, it was the knife's fault, not the guns.
America's unique, enduring knife problem explained. Yeah. The Young Turfs came out with, it's the guns. Guns did it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got Chenkyuga, a Christian school, was shot up in Nashville, 7 killed, including 3 children. Are the heartless Republicans going to say it was because their kids didn't pray enough? No, it's obviously the guns. But even this won't move a single Republican politician to do the right thing. Just the immediate response from some writers. Mental health. Just can we please talk about how insane Americans are? I mean, I was having a conversation the other day with Josh, actually, about the fact that just American attitudes to mental health are so weird. It's such a strange country. Why does everyone have therapy? I mean, it's such a weird, unique thing, right?
But I assume that was a sort of a Californian women thing. I don't know if everybody has therapy, do they?
But it's such a higher rate than any other country.
Right, yes.
Even with what you would expect to be worse mental health conditions because of trauma. But
yes,
whatever, just a whole other thing.
ChatGPT can do therapy as well, so maybe that will help.
You know what the White House had to say?
Go on then.
It was the guns.
Yeah, all right.
The gun did it.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Who's shocked? There you
Yes.
are. This is the diversity hire just saying, assault weapon ban, huh? How about that? That'll solve it. MSNBC, they had a unique line of it. It was the gun.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was the guns that did it.
I'm starting to spot a trend.
Getting a bit boring at this point, just how clockwork everything is in the United States whenever this happens. It's just there's the whole left-wing system just immediately goes guns, 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 guns. Okay. Do you know any of the facts? Do you know who did it? No. Do you know why they did it? No. Why is it the gun then?
Yeah. I still don't know who did it, actually, so...
No. And, well, we'll go forward and find out, shall we? Because there was someone who had the worst response, David Pagman. Very surprising that there would be a mass shooting at a Christian school, given that a lack of prayer is often blamed for these horrible events. What? It was possible that they weren't praying enough or correctly despite being a Christian school.
That's not the right response to kids getting shot.
No.
At all, really.
If the kids
to poke fun at their prayer.
Great. Yeah, that's...
Yes.
I'd love to see him do that with the next mosque shooting. But we'll go to Reddit. Reddit had a theory. Multiple victims reported in Nashville school shooting. Better protect those kids from drag queens and trans people.
Okay, well, I mean, I guess you can do both, but...
This is where things... I won't ruin it. You go to the next link here, because local moron, we feature her a lot. Thank God Tennessee protected the children from so-called horrors of drag and gender-affirming care, so they can get shot up by an AR-15 instead. Yeah, it was the gun that did... Hang on a minute.
Okay.
Why did they do it? Who were they?
Well, I mean, I'm guessing that the people you've been talking about so far, hoping to God that it's a right-wing nationalist.
I think there's some kind of...
You know, the sort of person who tries to stop you going from a drag show, that sort of thing.
I think there's a kind of sick humour. So I'm an atheist, but I think there is a God now, and I think he's the sickest humorist person in the world.
Right.
And we'll just wait until the morons who can't help themselves but ambulance chase come out with their theories about who's done it this time, and then it'll be the exact opposite. As you can see here in this case,
that's not good.
It was a woman who identifies as a male.
A he, him?
Yes.
Right.
So it was a woman at shop, some kids.
Oh, so it's a I always get these two confused. It's a trans man. Yes.
It's a woman.
Whatever they say they are, they're not.
Yeah.
So trans man is a woman who wants to be a man.
And breaking the deceased mass shooter in the Christian school in Nashville has been identified as a trans person. Blah blah blah. Yeah. Hale's large page was LGBTQ themed works.
Okay, so not exactly the sort of person who would try and stop your kid going to a drag show then.
No.
Well, except by shooting them.
It really is actual clockwork, the way America works in regards to these things. There's just everyone brings out their talking points before they have any facts. Usually someone will say something really stupid, such as the previous examples.
This sort of reminds me of was it the Facebook shooter or something? One of the big tech companies, they had a shooter go in, and exactly the same thing happened. All this, and at the time, the issue was all about immigrants of colour and something like that, and women.
I bet some far-right typers shot up the place because YouTube demonetized them. And then it was a vegan Iranian leftist.
Yes.
Who made really weird content.
Yes.
And she was demonetized, so she went with a handgun. And
yes.
I don't think it was actually successful in killing anyone except herself.
Right.
Because...
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, so there you are. If you scroll up, I'm going to have to blur that footage. We can't show that on YouTube, I don't believe.
No.
But, yeah.
No, I mean, it is horrible, but...
It's just so boring for me.
Yes, it doesn't completely dispute the whole mental health thing, does it?
No, and we can't talk about mental health now because the person is trans.
Yes.
I'm not joking. YouTube's terms of service, because they're written in a certain way, people can go and read them in their own time.
Yes.
In regards to how they think about protected characteristics, This person is perfectly mentally sane, we have to say, because of YouTube.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, we wouldn't want to be demonetised a second time. So, yes,
No,
no, she's
we
clearly
can't
the
talk.
paragon of sanity, this person.
We can't talk about mental health because, I mean, this is just the insanity of assuming that people who are protected groups are not human, but instead angels. It's like, no. They're human beings. They have all kinds of situations that I can't talk about because of goddamn YouTube's censorship, but there you have it. There's the news. Well, it's time for the media, isn't it? Because, of course, well, they all jumped on it. It was the gun. I was like, oh, hang on a minute. Crap. This is something we now need to memory hole because we're leftists.
Yeah.
And,
I wonder if it's going to disappear as fast as that Facebook shooter.
We'll go to the media. It's USA Today who decide to talk about the fact that sorry for misgendering the transgender school shooter. The number one concern in the newsroom.
Right.
Yeah. Police on Monday said that the shooter was a transgender man. Officials had initially misgendered the gender of the shooter. Oh, no.
God. Well, that's awful.
That's the real tragedy. It's I mean, it really is that Norm Macdonald joke. It was like, if there was a nuke that went off by Islamic terrorists in New York City, I mean, the real problem would be that millions of innocent Muslims would be facing discrimination as a result of all those deaths in New York. Yeah, we go to the next one. We have New York Times did the same thing. Main problem: misgendering.
So, I mean, this is literally a trans person marching into a Christian school and killing Christian children.
Yes.
And we're having a conversation about making sure we get the pronouns right.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, you can see why this is getting memory hold pretty fast.
Yes.
You may remember what was it, the guy who ran down all those kids at the what was that, Christmas parade in the car? Remember
that one got memory hold so long ago. I can't
disappeared.
remember the details of that one now.
But it's just I am so out of just even things to say in regards to the American mass shooting or mass murder spree of just like, oh, there's a news item. Does it fit the narrative? If yes, continue. If no, bunk. This is why you only ever hear, like, I think in that Vox article, they had a list. They're like, oh, don't you remember all these events? And they listed like 6 events. And it's like, yeah, it's because it's the only 6 that fit your narrative.
Yeah.
And
well, I mean, from that pie chart you showed me earlier, I mean, that was fairly instructive.
A lot of them don't.
Yes.
Turns out quite a lot of them. As in almost all of them.
Oh, dear.
We'll go forward, because it's not just the New York Times who were most offended by the misgendering. We have, as you see here, 2 MSNBC articles, an ABC article, a CNN article, all reporting on the event, with no need to tell the viewer that the shooter was trans, as End Wokeness points out. So if it was not for Twitter.com,
I've got to
nobody
wonder,
would know.
if the shooter was wearing a MAGA hat, I wonder if that would get mentioned.
Every time, I think. You scream, "This is MAGA country." I think people will just believe you that it happened. CNN, they got in trouble. Someone pointed out that apparently they did end up misgendering the shooter. How could they?
Inexcusable.
The real crime in all of this.
At a time like this.
Yeah, let's go to the next link so you can see that. So, I mean, just the absolute state of this individual as well. 5 times CNN misgendered. No correction. A mass shooting is horrible. Misgendering does not make it any better. So, okay,
3 children and 3 adults working at a school are murdered, and that is the take.
That's my main concern, says Karen.
And that person will face no cancellation, no consequence. They wouldn't be banned off YouTube if they made comments to these effects.
But have you paid your piper to the religion of the world, which is that we don't misgender the trans?
Well, it is. I mean, this is liberalism is this sort of weird emerging religion.
Yeah. CNN ended up just deciding trying not to talk about it. Instead, if you go to the next link here, it's just like, trans, I had to think not. There was a shooter.
Right.
Just a shooter. Do we have a description of the suspect? Human. Good, thanks. Thanks, CNN. It's just comically transparent every goddamn time. I didn't even want to cover this, because it's just, I'm so sick of these kind of events. But it's just the clockwork, absolute clockwork. I don't know what more to say, because it is just so goddamn routine at this point. It's just like, does it fit narrative? If yes, continue. But guns. Oh wait, it doesn't fit the narrative. Bury it immediately. And amazingly, this wasn't the worst outcome. I mean, Pac-Man over there, tried, but Joe Biden managed to get the worst one. This is real. I thought this was fake. This is Fox News who decided, or they heard that Joe Biden was going to address the mass shooting, and so they cut the footage of him, which they had been told from the White House was him addressing the mass shooting.
I remember Obama did this quite effectively.
Yeah, let's play this clip.
Bill, I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm told that the president is just approaching the podium now in the East Room of the White House.
My name is Joe Biden. I'm Dr. Joe Biden's husband. And I ate Jenny's ice cream, chocolate chip. I came down because I heard there was chocolate chip ice cream. What? By the way, I have a whole refrigerator full upstairs. I think I'm kidding. I'm not.
Doing a bit?
Ben, how are you, pal? One of the best guys in the United States Congress, Ben Cardin. Folks,
Is that real?
Yeah, that's real.
it's a delight to have you all here. And who are those good-looking kids back there? They're your kids, all four of them? Well, stand up, guys.
That's how he responds to a school shooting?
John, we'll jump back in here. Considering the moment,
we were
there's a
told
school
that the
shooting that just happened left 3 children dead, 3 adults dead, shooters dead, and we were told he would be addressing this off the top.
She used to be 3 years
Yeah, it's rather surprising. I thought that a somber President Biden would have come to the podium here and addressed the school shooting.
God, that man needs to be in a nursing home. This is cruel.
I mean, clearly some kind of major miscommunication at the White House, but they told the media he's going to address the shooting, so they cut to him and he does that. And it's like,
But I mean,
that's the worst. That's the worst
I mean,
response.
Joe Biden would have needed at least an hour and a half of prep to do that. So he must have been prepped to do one thing. This news came out and he couldn't deal with a change of narrative.
I mean, again, it's like a Norm Macdonald skit. Like, just the Fox News guy at the end who was like, oh, I thought he was going to address, like, the shooting. But talking about ice cream. Yeah, I mean, that's probably the worst one. I think we've reached not good response number one. It could be worse.
It's going to be hard to top that.
The first thing another guy tried, he tried to justify the shooting live on air as he learned about it, which was pretty weird. Let's play this one. This is from ABC News.
The police chief also said that the shooter has been identified as 28-year-old female Audrey Hale. He said she's a former student of the school and confirmed that Audrey Hale was identified herself as a transgender person. The state of Tennessee earlier this month passed and the governor signed a bill that banned transgender medical care for minors, as well as a law that prohibited adult entertainment, including male and female impersonators, after a series of drag show controversies in that state.
Oh, I guess fair enough then.
Oh, so justify concerns then.
Could you imagine? I don't know what the mirror image of that is exactly. Like, a man walked into a synagogue and murdered about 6 Jews. Well, recently the Jews have been taking over and given too much lip, haven't they? So I don't know if that's a Fox News recording.
Yeah, liberal American news is absolutely fascinating to watch. I mean, that's up there with Fiery but Peaceful, when you can see the building burning down behind the guy.
This is the thing as well. Like, I wanted to leave this for more time to find out what the person's actual motive was, because apparently they read a manifesto but it hasn't been released. And
Right.
They've said nothing, and they're in custody. They're not dead.
I can
So,
sort of guess.
Fake news there.
Yeah.
But the guess, as you can see there from the media, is, well, did you know Tennessee was trying to stop transitioning youths? Oh, well, I'm sure that means you can go kill some 9-year-olds then. That's justified.
So because
Right.
the US has inculcated this insanity, they're actively sort of pushing it on kids, and then when you don't sort of let them carry the whole thing through to the insane conclusion, that is the bit because you basically stop
The
them
media
from
will
doing
sit
the
around and
last
be
2%.
like, well, what did you expect? Of course you're going to kill some kids. Why wouldn't you? I mean, I would. It's just, what? What's wrong with you?
Yes.
What's actually wrong with you? But
yeah, it's not a good take.
that's probably the worst. I think that probably is the worst. I don't know if Biden wins or they win. ABC News there.
Yeah.
But the internet did its thing, as usual. As you see, we have Samantha Hyde. Was apparently the shooter for a while. Not true, in case you're wondering. But it is the case that the Sam Hyde meme just continues forever. If you go to the next one, though, we have the best argument, which is that the shooter is the real victim. And we have some reasoning. Shooter was a former student of the Christian school. Maybe his trauma started there. We all know how accepting and loving certain religions are of non-cis children.
I don't think it was the Christian school that inculcated this person into that.
also, what a weird response. It's just like, woman
Yes.
kills 3 kids, so maybe they deserved it because they're bigots.
Yes, yeah, maybe
Bigoted
maybe those
9-year-olds.
9-year-olds who were presumably 3 at the time that student was there was
Get some help.
Yes.
What's actually wrong with you? This is a real narrative as well. This isn't just like a few dumbass accounts. If you go to the next one here, this group put out a big old statement. I'm not going to read it all because it's trash. But we're gonna
trans
read-
resistance.
Yep.
Right,
Resistance against what? We don't know.
right.
There's no actual
Reality, I would assume.
Hale felt that he had no other effective way to be seen other than lashing out and taking the lives of others. Hate has consequences.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't expect this. I mean, the rest of this is clockwork. The weird, well, maybe he did nothing wrong from transgender activists is another level of insane. I mean, I wasn't even sure we would ever reach this,
Yeah.
and we have now. Which is the shooting of children is justified if it's for the transgender movement.
Yeah. This is an emerging religion. It is
I mean, if you
complete
want
insanity.
if you wanted real just evidence, as we spoke about, I mean, me and Carl did the Posey Parker segment yesterday. One of the big things was that you can see, yeah, Jordan Peterson was right. These people are properly ideologically possessed, and in that case, will apparently do anything, and justifying murdering 9-year-olds is on the menu for these people, apparently. This is a sincere statement there. And also just the madness of being like, yeah, we're the most oppressed group on Earth. You just go to the next image. Just I know this is a meme, but it's just so true as well. I'm not taking any of this.
When they say they're the most oppressed group on earth, I mean more than Christians who are being murdered en masse around the world in multiple countries at this very moment.
But you see, one transgender person is I think murdered every year or every decade in the UK. So that's genocide. So
Yeah, but dozens of Christians are being murdered around the world every day. There was an ongoing
yeah, but
and
they're
active
not like
persecution.
unicorns who are worth more. So
I
that
see.
doesn't matter.
Right.
Okay. Look at the next one here because someone else came out with the big brain take that the Daily Wire were the real shooters.
How did they get there?
Benjamin over here. NBC has ID'd Nashville school shooter as Audrey Hale, 28, who identifies as transgender and has no previous criminal record. Nashville is home to
Well,
the
she's
Daily
made up for
Wire,
that.
a hub of anti-trans activity by @Matt Walsh, @Ben Shapiro, @Michael Knowles. It's like, wow, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Ben did this. He was wearing a mask. Okay, so this is some NBC reporter here who actually wrote that in sincerity.
Oh, at NBC, this is not just some random.
No, this is some journo working for the corporate
Right.
press. He was like, maybe Ben Shapiro did this.
Oh, he's got a legacy blue tick and everything.
Yeah,
Right.
it's just comical. There was some leaked photographs. There's no time to add it. I think Jeremy put it out, the quartering, where there's the final message that the shooter had with someone. It was on Instagram, where the shooter is saying, it's because of my mental health.
Obviously. At least they recognise it.
I mean, we can't say that that's the case because of YouTube. But
Oh, yes,
the
yeah.
shooter said it. And
Well, the shooter must be mistaken. It's lucky they don't have a YouTube channel, otherwise they get demonetised.
YouTube are stepping in the way, going, no. It's just, I'm not kidding as well. We're not allowed to refer to any of this as an kind of mental illness problem
Right.
because of the circumstances. It's mad what we have to deal with.
Yes.
But Newsweek, I think, tried to be the center of worst attention. They came out here. Drag shows and gender-affirming care for minors were banned in Tennessee this month, while assault weapons remain legal. I mean, I don't know how much of their own farts this author huffs. Presumably every single speck they can get their hands on. And what's actually wrong with you? That's your response? They banned drag shows, but they still have guns. Okay, right. And also, just can we have a side note about the long murderous violence that's in every part of trans rights rhetoric? I mean, we covered this briefly at the end of the Posey Park thing. And I can't not keep saying,
Yeah.
people need to start paying attention because it was kind of funny when the soy leftist was like, I'm gonna murder all the rightists, but then they kind of keep doing it. So
Because, I mean, early on in all this nonsense, you used to get sort of, what was it, though? The Proud Boys or something. They would go on a march, and then you get these sort of Antifa types turn up, and they try and fight them, only to discover very quickly that soy boys do not do well against gym bros.
yeah, but that was like the soy leftists.
Yeah.
But the trans movement is on another level.
But
Like,
I mean, they obviously recognise that, if they have problems with, the Tennessee governor, attacking him isn't going to do any good, so they're going for the softest possible target, which is going to be a
Defenseless
school.
children.
Yeah, defenceless children. And of course, all of these schools have to be gun-free zones, so they become a magnet for anybody wanting to do a shooting.
Yeah, I mean, if you get that there, I mean, the bottom left image is someone at some protest at the exact same time the shooting was taking place, as they stand there with their guns, being like, "Trans rights, or else what? What are you going to do?"
Well, shoot kids.
Apparently, it's on the menu. If you go to the next one here, it's also just at every possible opportunity. Apparently, this has to happen. This is just some what is this, governor with a shirt that says "Protect Trans Kids" with a knife. So what you're gonna stab people who try to stop you from transing children? Okay,
Right.
that apparently was the
or
shooting
maybe
motive.
the knife is what's used to assist.
I don't think we can say that, so we'll leave that there. We'll also go to the next one. Trans Day of Vengeance is a whole thing. Apparently, you can see that there. Great. I mean, when they keep telling you the rhetoric is that we're going to commit violence if you
Yes.
don't let us do what we want. I think it's time to believe them.
I mean, there is a point where if people repeatedly tell you what they're planning to do, that you sort of need to listen to them.
Yeah, and the last one here is just Tucker Carlson. Apparently, he had a 1 day of prediction before it became true. So he's the new Babylon Bee. If you click on the left one there, we have Rainbow Youth Project USA. Tucker Carlson is afraid gun-toting trans people will start political violence. They want to be able to commit it, and they want you to be defenseless so you can't fight back. 1 day later,
Yes.
yeah. Okay.
Well, he's absolutely right.
Well, there you have it. And then just the last thing here, if we go to the next one, just to end off. I mean, it just keeps happening as well. It's not just America, of
I
course.
saw this one.
This is in the UK. West Yorkshire police account, genuine official government account, talking about how this woman here has been jailed for 9 years for tying up a woman, committing sex offences, and stabbing them.
And this is the perpetrator
Yeah.
who they identified as a woman.
This is the,
Now, they did delete this tweet, and they got some criticism for deleting it, but my take on that was, well, you see, West Yorkshire police have some of the very finest detectives in the country, so no subterfuge, no matter how subtle, can get past them for long. So they spotted what was up here, and they deleted it after only a couple of days.
But anyway, that's the news. The usual things the right would talk about, no one's going to care about. Are they right on this? Again, yes. It's just, the data is actually relevant. And just screeching about guns, it's not going to change anything. I don't know why this clockwork nonsense has to happen every couple of months. Just the same story, every couple of months, same thing. The left will jump to a conclusion, it won't be true, and then they'll get battered with reality, and then pretend it never happened.
Well, I mean, reality has never been much of a concern for them, has it?
There we are. Another day in the United States. If you appreciated that episode from the podcast The Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content that's on the site, such as the Contemplation series, this episode on whether or not video games are bad for you. If you'd like to find out what else is being put out, you can follow on Getter at lotuseaters_com on Getter. Thank you and goodbye.